Hi, this is Toby from Lith-Tech Mobility. So in today's video we're going to be touching on maintenance. Maintenance is an essential part of owning a wheelchair. I did 2 videos on maintenance about 6 months ago, which are on YouTube and on our website. They touch about the importance of maintenance, obviously the basics of what to do, and kind of which parts of the wheelchair need the most specific attention. Since then we brought out a maintenance kit. It's just hit our website 2 days ago. It's £40 and this gives you every essential piece of equipment you need to look after your wheelchair. So I'm going to run through first of all what it is that comes with the kit. So first of all you just get a little storage bag. Right. You get your water spray. So your water spray is essential. So this is basically going to produce a mist of water. So whenever you go out on a muddy track, on grass, a beach promenade where it's kicking up sand and grit, you're going to want to clean your wheelchair. When grit and sand and things like that get in your motors, over time it's going to harm the motors and not make them function as well. If you constantly repetitively do it, they are going to break, simple fact. Along with the water spray, you've got your 2 microfibers. So what you do, you spray around the frame, around your wheels, especially around your motors. So this is the bit you want to, if you can, get into. All around in here, around that kind of seal area. Once this can get really gunked up with mud, sand, grit, you want to try and dislodge all of this from here as much as possible. So spray with your water spray, wipe down your microfiber cloth. That's how you clean a wheelchair. Obviously, because it's electric, you want to avoid things like hose pipes, jet washers, a concentrated amount of water. So water spray 2 times, microfiber cloths. We've got our ratchet with our socket end. I'll explain what they're all for in a minute. We've got our spanner, 19mm spanner. We've got a multi-function spanner, so that can go for all the little stuff all around the chair. You've got 4 cable ties for hooking back cables if they're kind of a bit messy. I mean, these are all messy because these are just demo chairs, but for an example where I would pin this, because we obviously got lots of people coming in that are left or right-handed, I need to be able to move them over quickly without spending my life doing up and undoing cable ties. So for example, I'd pin a cable tie here. You always want to pin a cable tie just before a join. So if the cable tie is to slip down, it can only ever slip as far as here because it will get caught in here. Same next place I would do it, I'd probably pin one here because then my cable tie can only ever go down as far as here. And that's basically for tidying up wires. So you've got your 4 cable ties. You've got your Allen keys, the most essential part of any wheelchair maintenance kit. The reason why we've got 2 packs in is because there will be times on chairs, for example, like here and here, where you want an Allen key of the same size to go against each other. Because if I was just going to put an Allen key in this on this side alone, this is just going to spin, causing that spin. You're not going to tighten up anything, so you need it to work against each other. Right, so let's go through what the most important parts of maintaining a wheelchair and how we do it. This is going to be quite lengthy because I'm literally going to do this myself. Okay, so first of all, if we own a SmartChair X or SmartChair XXL, one of the most important things is maintaining forks. So on this specific chair, we're going to tip it upside down. What we want to check for is we don't want too much rock. If you get too much rock in your forks, it can cause your forks to, over time, wear out, even fraction. You can even snap your forks if you're going up and down curbs a lot. So if you've got excessive rock, what's happening is it's going to get a stress fracture on here. So it's incredibly important to tighten your forks. How we do this, first of all, and we'll use our little kit for all of this. So I'm going to get out an Allen key. I think it's this size. No, it's not. It's this size. Okay, and on the X's, you can actually, this holds it in place so it can work against itself. So all you literally have to do is use the Allen key on the fork, and over time, this will then loosen off. Right. Okay, right, so my wheel's off. Now my wheel's off, I can now get to this fork. So what we're going to use for this is we're going to use our socket and we're going to use our spanner. And what I'm going to do, am I loosening it or tightening? No, other way. I'm just going to tighten this up. So at the moment you can see there's actually quite a lot to go. You don't want it so tight that this can't rotate anymore, but you want it tight enough that that fork is being held on nicely there. So now my fork's held on nicely, we then want to put our wheel on. For this you need to line, in here you've got a bearing. You need to make sure that the bearing's bang in the middle and lined up here. The easiest way to do that is to kind of just give it a little bit of a shake. It does take sometimes a little bit of time just to make sure your bearing's lined up. You want to give it a little wiggle. Come on. Oh, I can't get the bearing lined up, it's annoying. There we go, and we're in. So it does take a little bit of time because it is quite fiddly. Tell you what, this isn't essential to do now. I'm pretty much through, I've just got to tighten it up. I'll tell you what, let's just do it properly. Let's do a job properly, right. Okay, so when you're putting this in, you want to make sure that that goes on. You don't want to put it on too late because otherwise it's got nothing to grip onto. Okay, I'm not going to do the other side, but the other side would need doing, but it's exactly the same principle. Right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to work our way around the chair. So you've now got this bar here. That's also going to need tightening. So do you see over time that loosens off? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that that just gets tightened up either side a little bit, and I'll do the same on this side. Right, we now move on to our foot plate. It's got a bit of play in it, so we want to tighten that up. So there we're going to need a second set of Allen keys because you need to work against each other. Otherwise the bolts will just spin, the nuts will just spin. Right, I think it's that second size. Okay, so I'm going to grab one keys. You don't want to go mega tight on any of these. You always want it to be kind of just more than finger tight, but not so insane that this ends up getting stuck. Right, I'm going to tip the wheelchair back on now on its wheels. We're going to have a look at the arms now. So, right, it's next size down. On this particular chair, on the newer ones, it's the same size. This demo model's a fair few years old. So we're going to do our arms. They're actually tight already, cracking. We're now going to go to this component. So anywhere you see an Allen key bolt, you just basically you just want to go for it and make sure that everything's tight. Maintenance should be done every 3 to 4 months. If one's a heavier individual, you're always going to put far more stress through the chair. So heavier individuals should really be looking at their chair if they use it all the time, every 2 months, because you're going to stuff loosens off basically through stress and vibration. So the more stress you're putting through a chair, the more you're going to need to look after it. It's kind of I guess it's physics. Right, okay, so we've gone at the back now. Right, now what we're going to look at is these bolts. Same again, just a tweak, these are actually perfectly tight. You can make sure that one's not. Make sure our motors are on tight. Next one down. No, it's not, it was that one. Yeah, they're all going to be tight anyway. Right, we're now going to move on to here. So if you ever find it hard to fold and unfold your wheelchair, the bolt that you want to undo a touch is this one here. This is your hinge bolt, and that basically operates the folding and unfolding of your chair. So you don't want to over tighten it. This is where our little spanner comes into play. So make sure I find the right one. Okay, so I'm just going to give it just a half tweak here. I don't want to over tighten it because if I over tighten it, then we're going to struggle with the folding and unfolding. But you always want to make sure that it's not too loose. If you ever see anything in inverted commas hanging, you obviously want to tighten it up. Okay, that's fine. Right, I'm now going to show you the controller unit. So on the Smart Chair X or XXL, the easiest way to get to the controller unit is underneath here. So we're going to remove the seat, the cushion. We're going to undo strap 1, stick it to itself on here, and undo strap 2. Right, this is your brain of the chair. It's an ECU. You've got your left motor, your right motor, and this is a mixture of your battery and your joystick. So what I want us to do is, over time, when you've got vibrations, this is going to get loose, like that. It's going to end up feeling like that. So I want us to just make sure that, I want us to unplug it, make sure it's plugged in fully, and then you've got a nice square connection. Sometimes it can start locking without it actually being a square. And if that's the case, you're not actually getting a proper connection. That one, I need to make sure it's in and twist, that's fine. And then you always want to make sure your hoods come back on if you can, because this is the, it's going to protect any sort of terminals or connections from water. Once you're happy with that, you want to then put your straps back on. Same with the tightening. This just comes under as part of your maintenance. So on this particular chair, you want to be doing it every 2 to 3 months as well. That's pretty much it. Obviously, you want to make sure your wheels aren't coming off. You do that by gently just rocking on the wheel. I mean, I know these are going to be fine. But yeah, if you can start feeling your wheel rocking like a boat, then obviously, allow me to check here. If you do decide to tighten up these bolts here, you have to be super careful. This metal and these are quite soft. And if you're not dead square of your Allen key, these bolts can round very easily, and once they're rounded, you are pretty much screwed. So you want to make sure that if you are going to touch this, and only touch it if you do have excessive play on your wheel, that you don't end up rounding off the edges, because then you will end up getting into problems. Okay, so that's probably enough on the XXXL. We'll roll this one out the way. And we'll now look at if we're a Smart Chair 1, a Smart Chair 1XL owner, or a Smart Chair XL, a Smart Chair recliner owner. The frame and what the maintenance and what you have to do is exactly the same. So we'll touch on the wheels again first of all. So if you've got excessive play in the wheels, what you need to do is you need to remove the wheels on here. You do this, if you've got an older model, it will be a Allen key bolt and a nut. If you've got a newer model, it'll be 2 Allen key bolts. If you've got the newer model, you just find 2 Allen keys of the same size. Got to work out which one this is. These are all new kits to me, so I'm not actually, there we go. I haven't actually ever used one of these kits before, so this is a first time even for me, but if I can muddle my way around it pretty easily, I'm sure you'll manage. Right. So now we've got the wheel off, means we can now access the fork. What we need to do is we need to pop off this rubber kind of bolt cover, and then we're going to go back to our spanner and our ratchet. This time it's the other way around, so we're actually going to have the ratchet on the top this time and the spanner at the bottom. And all we want to make sure we're doing on this is that it's just tight enough that it rotates fine. You don't have that play in the fork. It is imperative that you don't have the play in the fork. The amount of people that come into me who go, oh yeah, I've had my chair for 3 years now, I've never touched it once, and the chair is like hanging, like the amount of play in all of these parts. There are bits, hanging off, there are parts missing, there's excess play in here. I'm not going to say it mildly, it's ridiculously dangerous. I'm massive on safety. I do not want to be sued. I want my customers to be safe, I want them to be happy. But once it leaves us, we give you all the tools, literally now, to maintain your chair, whether it's videos, through the user manual, what we say, and now for a tool set, you need to do it. And if you can't do it yourself, you need to take it to someone who can. Because if any part, it's like having a car for 10 years and not doing anything to it. The chances are it's going to become dangerous. If your brake pads wear out and you're going 70 miles an hour and you don't stop, you're going to crash and you're going to hurt yourself. It's the same as this. If you don't look after your chair, you could very much likely hurt yourself, and no one wants that. So I've done that on this side. I'm not going to bother putting the wheel on right now, but the wheel will then go back on. Right, next thing we can look at is we can look at the foot plate. on this chair. I'll tell you what, Kai, if you come around this side again, actually, to give you a bit more room, I'll move this way, it's a bit easier. Right, so we're going to need our Allen key, and we're going to need our spanner. So that just goes in here. Find the right one on here. Half a tweak. Half a tweak. Now we're just going to work our way systematically through the chair. So for me, from here, the next bolt I want to touch is here. So same again, spanner, Allen key in here. Spanner in, which one is it? Spanner in here, that's actually fine. Next one we want to touch is this one. So you're basically just working your way around the chair. Anywhere you see a bolt, you want to give it a go. Okay, so they're all good. Right, so that's the front half of the chair done. We can now move on to our arms, which are kind of here, literally half tweaks there. Same here, not much going on there. This is where you could do 2 Allen keys because you're going against each other. So you want to have one this side, just give it a little half tweak. Then none of this, if you do it regularly enough, I mean, these are demo chairs, so they don't get, I mean, they get out at least once, twice a week, depending on what models people are coming to look in. They don't get everyday, regular use in hardcore terrain, bumpy ground all the time. So we probably do maintenance on these chairs probably once every 6 months properly. But if it is your chair, you do need to be doing it much more frequently. Okay, so let's come to the back of the chair now. Your next bolt is at the back here. Just want to get your Allen key, just give it half a tweak. Same here, half a tweak, that's fine, doesn't need doing. Same again, same as the other chair. This is your hinge for folding and unfolding. You want this loose enough that it can still fold and unfold, but tight enough that your bolts, you don't want your nut to be anywhere near the end of this. If it is, you need to tighten it. I'm not going to tighten that now because this one's overly tight anyway, slightly, doesn't need it. Under here, you've got another bolt. You can always give these a little tweak and a tighten. On this one, you might actually not be able to use this tool. You might need to, or you'd need to remove the cable ties, which we've supplied you with, so you can get that in there. At the moment, we're not going to be able to get that in there because of the wiring, but you can get the principle. You'd put your little multi-spanner or a spanner on here, and you'd just give it a few tweaks around until the gap between here and here narrows. Right, so last thing we're going to look at on here is the controller unit. So with the Smart Chair X or the XXL, we need to remove the cushion to get to it. On this chair, the easiest way of doing it is from underneath. So under your bag, you've got the controller unit. So on this, you want to be basically pulling off your cover. It's a bit, because they're quite a bit of wiring, it's a bit tighter in here. It's a little bit of a pain to pull these back, but you can fold them back. You know, you want to make sure that's pushed in. Just a bit of play in that. I want to make sure that's nice and tight, and then I want to put my covers back on. Same with that one. I want to push that all the way in. Make sure that's screwed up nice and tight. We always want a secure connection. If you do not have a secure connection running through these motors, left and right aren't going to function properly. So I'm going to pull back the hood. I'm going to push in and twist. So there's a bit of play on that one as well. But the idea is, if you do this, you know, once every 2 months, you're only ever going to get a quarter turn. It's only the people that come in after they haven't done any maintenance for a year and a half plus, and stuff's starting to fall apart, and you know, I'm there literally winding. If done correctly and you look after your stuff, every single bolt will need a half tweak, and each chair will take you, no word of a lie, 5 minutes, I'd say. So it's 5 minutes out of your time every 2 months, 3 months on the non-XL versions, and yeah, it could save you. It will make you happier. It will make your ride more comfortable, more capable, smoother, and it's going to make your wheelchair last longer. Meaning you're not going to have to fork out on extra parts because the parts are going to wear out quicker if you don't look after your chair. So I know that was a very popular requested video, so I hope you found that useful, and I've literally shown you on each specific model kind of what needs doing. So best of luck, be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.